On the CT side, so we'll get into our own thoughts a little bit later because G2 are on the push at the moment. Dennis with some interesting wallbang attempts there with a mere USP. So here we go, G2 looking to impede on the action straight away. We've got Olofmeister coming in for a really big push here, but he might be a bit late for the rotation. Frags coming in though, RPK to get the opening kill.
Yeah, that's a nice start there, but he's got Dennis working in. He's got 2 frags straight away. That's going to be really awesome now because Fnatic have a lot of space and time to work with. The bomb only just went down. G2 haven't got the best positions here. They don't have time to fall back. They've got to make do with what they've got, and Scream's going to be doing just that, taking down Olofmeister already. So 3 versus 3 as Fnatic wait for the perfect moment. The jump goes in and Smith goes down. It's up to Scream and Shocks now here for the French side as they wait patiently, and pinpoint accuracy as Scream finds his connections, but still 2 players left here for Fnatic as Defuse is coming in. Can he get it? Oh, he's going for the hold! Not quite, but very close.
The precision incision there pulls the steel down to take the round for G2, and that was less than 1 second on the clock as well, so very nice stuff. It's always smart though, if you know roughly where the bomb is, get that knife going. It's going to have a reasonable hitbox there, so close but not quite for Fnatic. The swipes, very nice indeed, just in time as well. So Fnatic going for the full spy here. We've got Dennis picking up the scouts. 4 pistols on the rest of the team. Dennis will be the only person lacking armor in this round. 2 scouts on the board here. I like the approach here from G2. 1 AK to clean things up should it be required. Scream can hold a long area with long range with the AK. Then you've got the MAC-10s for the close range madness. Now, again, on overpass, this area is very, very important for both teams to try and hold a short B position. It allows the Ts to do a lot more. It allows the CTs to put more people towards A if they can keep control of that towards the middle of the round. G2 with 1:10 on the clock here, so they've got lots of time to clear out any sneaky positions from these Fnatic players.
They're doing it well there. This is what you want to do. You want to just go up that A-long area. That's a nice connection there to Dennis. He's not going to get anything back himself, which is pretty unfortunate there because every second that passes now, G2 getting closer and closer, closing that distance onto Dennis. Another missed shot there for Dennis, and he's not going to get much more opportunities here, I would think, as he does get some reinforcements. But again, G2 doing it well here. They are pushing up A-long, trying to force a response. They've got 2 players toilet side to catch any flanking players, and there is going to be one of those. We've got Olofmeister creeping up by the fountain now, but will G2 be able to catch him, or will he get some damage in?
A problem for G2 is there's 30 seconds left, and they are still yet to push or kill a single player. Crim's finally going down, and now this might just work out here for G2. JW they've got a CZ, and he can get multiple frags with it. That's a long reload zone, he will only get 1 kill. Team kill coming in though. Scream taking down body. Dennis with 10 HP, and this round should indeed be over. Not a good start there for Scream.
At least it was a headshot. He only shoots head, James. He only shoots for the head. So yeah, the 2-0, and what I really love to see there from G2 is that was really disciplined, and there was a lot of focus going into it. You know, around like that, some teams get a little bit complacent, but G2, they weren't doing that here. They played it by the book, and Fnatic, they tried to play as optimally as they could. I mean, Dennis did get a few opportunities to get some tags in. I mean, all it takes is Dennis to get, hit one of those early shots, and you don't know exactly what can happen from that point, but he didn't. So G2 now moving in against Florico.
This looks like a fast play into the B bomb site. The running Molotov normally means a quick play, but G2 just taking it a little bit more carefully just in case of a stack, and they're going to force the issue now. 1 man down here for the T side, but again, they're just up against USP, so they shouldn't be too worried despite losing 2 players. This should be okay, but you never know, especially with Fnatic and Flusher in tow. Dennis always dangerous. Scream's being dinged to 5 HP now, so there are actually real problems here for G2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's possible that they might lose Scream, although if he plays correctly, he does have the space to be in a position where he's not going to have to face his opponents. He doesn't have to do that unless he wants to get the frags. But we've seen a lot of focus again for Scream in these positions where even if he wants to get all the kills and he can be a player like that, he's still going to make sure that he keeps his money alive. And so he's going to just fall back there, allow his teammates to do the damage, pick up the frags, and we're going to see Flusher just backing away, seeing if he can get anything sneaky done here. Looks like it's not going to happen. Shocks is in there with the pistol, and that's going to be the round for G2. 3-0. A quick start here for the French side as they make their mark on overpass, and we get the buy-in from Fnatic finally, but it's not going to, well, it could feature an AWP, and it will. Okay, so JW is going to pick up an AWP, but he's going to be sacrificing any Kevlar or grenades to go with it. So Interesting spot for Fnatic because they have such a low amount of utility to work with.
Yeah, lack of grenades. I mean, we've seen a lot of aggression from Olofmeister very early on in this round, so it looks like he's feeling it. Got Dennis moving down the long area at the moment, but he's quite deep on his zone. Flusher was over towards toilets, but he's kind of in a middle position at the moment, so Dennis is somewhat isolated. Used to have Edward down there for Na'Vi as well. And Na'Vi used to smoke off that area, which made things really weird for the T side. Sometimes they'd be deep where Dennis is, sometimes they wouldn't be anywhere near there at all. So it was a good way to waste time for the Ts, making them have to spend extra time clearing out areas. Again, the short B position hasn't really been taken by either team at the moment. You see Shox asking questions of it, and Olofmeister is peeking a little bit to see what's going on. So passive by both teams in that direction. Most of G2, well, all of G2 upper A actually at the moment, and there we go. Dennis is going to get taken down with no response here for the CT.
Yeah, I definitely respect what Dennis was trying to do there. You could hear so much going on towards the toilets and party area. He's thinking, all right, if I find that perfect timing and I get the flank in, I'm going to be putting my team in a massive advantage here. And as you said, there was no support, and it's a big risk, but Fnatic are a team that can't do that sort of stuff because they can rely on people like JW. But he's got to connect here because G2 are getting closer and closer, and they're definitely going for it at the moment. They have no proper contingency with nobody towards that B-bomb site. So here it is. It's going to be on Flusher. He's close range, but he has the grenade up. Body's going to take him down straight away. JW's in now with that AWP, but he can't get a single connection. This looks really bad right now for Fnatic. Another missed shot.
Bombs going down now, all the G2 players alive. Only Shox is a bit tagged at the moment, and Fnatic are already abandoning ship. And I think JW, that last shot, I think he moved just before he fired it, which made his gun woefully inaccurate. And this is a really bad start here for Fnatic. I mean, I think this map selection is quite dangerous if G2 take the first one. And they're off to a very good start indeed. And again, with Shox and Scream, they are really performing towards the upper end of their skill bracket, and that's not good for Fnatic, that's for sure.
Yeah, we saw already yesterday just quite what they can do on a map like Dust 2. So yeah, they definitely need to be answering back soon here, Fnatic. Stop that momentum. Now we've got, of course, a situation where they should survive with 3 players here, unless someone tries to kill in the console or something. So they're good to bring those 3 guns into the next round, which means they can force it up. Because with 3 players surviving, it's very easy to get, a drop for 2 of those players who don't have anything, and then they can play out the round. So it's not the biggest loss in the world that they didn't get it right that last round. They did take some gambles. We had Dennis with that push towards A-Long. And I'm curious what Fnatic will go for here, because there is definitely a lot of space for them to go for aggression. Although G2 have shown that they're very, very good at positioning themselves early to the mid-round to counter any aggression from the CTs. But here it is. It's Dennis with that FAMAS.
Fnatic never afraid to go for an aggressive stance versus an opponent. G2, this entire tournament, G2 have always had a good read on what to expect from their opponents. And you can see they have passive positions towards upper. Shox taking control of short B. That's going to deny information despite Shox leaving the area. So it's going to be hard for Fnatic going forward. And the headshots coming in here from Shox and Scream. Down to 3 players once again for Fnatic. But with 1:20 on the clock, they may have a hard time saving.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough situation for them. Let's see if they can get something done here. JW is going to be the man to try to do that with that AWP. It is the right tool for the job. But what can he find with it? We've got another smoke coming in. That's going to deny him vision, and also it means that he's got that long-range weapon. People can get behind that smoke and close the distance without him easily realizing. That's also an issue for him now as he looks for something, but he's going to back away. And as you say, they're already down 2 players. They needed some kind of equalizer before the push hits the bomb site, because all G2 need to do now is just play the numbers game. They know it. They're going to go towards the B bomb site, and it looks like actually Fnatic have either a good read on this, or they're deciding just to stack a site. And if that's the case, they're going to get lucky, because here comes G2.
Well, lucky or unlucky, down goes Crims to Smiths, and the charge is going to come in. But again, it might be a case of if they can stop the bot from going down. That's a very fast trade, though, leaving Flusher alone with a mere UMP. So much for him to do. How's he going to avoid getting traded in the situation? Body comes in for the final frag. AWP, if they want it there as well for Smiths, and indeed RPK will collect that. G2 off to a roaring start here. Now that's going to put Fnatic in a difficult position. They could go for a buy here, but it would be distinctly lacking in utility. So some money will be spent, but it's going to be a bit of a save for the following round here for the Swedish side. 5-0, they'll be at maximum loss bonus, which is a plus, so they'll have big utility going into the next round. Then I just want to pay attention. G2 have a renewed focus there. You see how patient they are once they're up at 5 versus 3. They're not going to overextend, take any unnecessary risks. They're being super, super patient. And I was talking with some of the other casters last night. There was a round where one team, I think it was on train, waited until there was 30 seconds left for somebody to peek them with an AWP to get a frag there and start charging. I want to say it was G2, I could be mistaken there, but they are playing very well at the moment. The decision-making is really strong with the French side at present. We'll see if it continues.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to mention as well. The patience, that's really working out well for G2. And another thing as well about that sort of play is that can be really frustrating to play against if you're the team that's behind, because you're waiting for them to make a mistake. But if they never drop their guard, if they're always so patient and focused, it's very hard to find that opening that you need to take advantage of. And another good anti-eco strategy. You can see that G2 can just keep their backs all together against this long wall, use those ranges, and trade effectively with the numbers. But getting tagged down here, this is what should have happened in the previous instance of this, where Dennis had that scout. And you can see the impact it's having now. G2 kind of having to go towards toilets now. They want the closer engagements. And can they get close to the bomb site? That's the question. Already a lot of damage done. This could go very badly for G2 if they're not careful. First kill made by Body, though. More entries to find. 2 players left on the bomb site. The grenades will do good work in removing these players. But what damage can they get in the process? It looks like they can't get enough. Although JW, what is this? Finds himself 2 quick headshots. And that's something. But that could have gone a lot worse for G2, to be honest.
Yeah, and that was not even on the 2 players who had been tagged by the wow. What can I say about that? That's a good illustration, I guess. That one wasn't even the 2 players who were tagged by the scout there, so that could have been much worse for G2. Good recovery considering the damage Dennis did early on, and great play by Dennis to get one tag up towards long and then just completely run away, not go back to the well one too many times. So Fnatic's big buy, their next big buy has come in, double AWPs coming out now. A distinct difference. The aggression hasn't paid off. You can see Dennis isn't deep towards long this time. Indeed, it's been abandoned for the time being. Let's see how they use these AWPs. See JW over towards the B bomb site. Olofmeister is going to be the second AWPer as well. He was playing B previously, but now he's moved over towards the toilet. So a complete change in formation here for Fnatic.
Yeah, and Scream actually hasn't died yet. He's got 14k in the bank. There's so much money on G2. They've been doing very, very well in these anti-eco type rounds in saving money. It's a lot of work for Fnatic to accomplish, and they need to do it now with this double AWP setup. Otherwise, it's going to get even more out of hand. So let's see what they can do, and let's see if Scream can keep his streak alive. And he is going to be following Shox, the dynamic duo of Shox and Scream. JW's on the angle. There it is. Scream goes down. So, well, there's the first step. Can JW survive this, though? He's under a lot of fire at the moment. Able to smoke himself off, just waiting patiently, losing his teammates to bait. But it's RPK with both frags, cleaning up the bomb site. He's not even done just yet. Dennis to fall as well. Flusher and Olofmeister on that retake now, but it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, we've got smoke after smoke coming in. Olofmeister, though, they're serving themselves up. They're trying to put themselves in a trade situation. No trade necessary. RPK will get the frag. Flusher now. Last man standing 4 in team versus 3. Not going to be easy. Too many angles to cover. 7-0 for G2. This is a Fnatic side who have been 16-0ing teams for fun. And we might have to start asking that question if G2 can make it to double figures before Fnatic get around on the board. But for now, Fnatic have 3 to 4k in the bank, so a difficult situation once again.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they agree. They're taking a tactical timeout. They've got to figure out how to handle this situation. G2, they're looking so strong right now, and I think that's the thing that they brought it up on the desk, saying that the style of G2, it often does rely so heavily upon players like the Shox and Scream, because they are the hard hitters, the true hard hitters of the team. Obviously, you have very respectable and skilled players in the likes of RPK, Smiths, and Body, but still, it's usually about Shox and Scream being able to open up the map against the best players in the world, and so far they've been able to accomplish that. But not only that, we're seeing that in the last couple weeks to kind of create more consistency. As you mentioned, there's more patience on G2. There's more discipline. They've got better anti-ecos. These guys are looking better and better. So Fnatic, they're in real trouble here.
They're in a lot of trouble. But again, 7-0. There's not going to be a full buy coming in this particular round. So G2 are very likely to make it to 8. But again, It's a terrible start for Fnatic, but there's definitely lots of room for recovery, but it needs to happen fast. If they can't get at least 5 rounds on their CT side, then they're going to be up the creek with no paddle to be seen, Dan.
Yeah, it's really tough decision-making wise as well, because, again, we talked about this earlier. If you're playing against a really patient team who's willing to wait and willing to, have very good trade situations all the time, it can be hard to find the opening aggressively, especially as the CT side, because G2 get all of the ability to decide, where the action is going to be on the map by, where they dictate, which, the attack will go either towards the B-bomb side or the A-spot side. Are they going to try to work on connector control, sewers control? They can make that decision. Fnatic have to react as the CT side, as the defensive side. They can try to take the aggression to G2, but again, so far G2 have been very, very good at covering themselves in that way. So it's probably going to be more of a setup-based sort of situation for Fnatic when they're making a decision here, as well as, do they take away sewers? That's something they haven't focused on too much just yet in the future rounds. So we'll have to see how it works out, how the map will be controlled by Fnatic in that 9th round, but for now it's going to be the half buy, as you mentioned.
Olofmeister doesn't have any kills just yet. And if he's not showing up, then Fnatic are definitely going to have problems, as evidenced by the current score. Fnatic opting for aggression now with their CZ, and Shox might be in trouble because he could get pincered here, but that makes RPK's position really important. When you have T's in the short B position, you have to have somebody in connector so they don't get flanked by the CTs, which is surely going to happen. Surely they're going to start pushing the door here, and RPK will have to cover for his team. Indeed, there it is, just waiting for the angle, and the flusher gets taken down. It's a very important setup to have, so make sure you're aware of that at home as well. If you're playing pugs and so on, you have to have someone in that connector position, just holding an angle on the door. Otherwise, your teammates are going to get wrecked.
It's actually really cool as well, because a lot of teams do like to put people towards connector on rounds like this with half buys with the pistols. It's a good close range location, and a lot of teams will just try to throw in grenades and try to push it close range with the rifles. But there you've got that setup where Shox is really baiting the guys out towards the sewers from that area. So it's a really smart way to handle that situation from G2. I really like that. And now, you see again, they're taking the bomb up A-long. Again, A-long is always going to be one of the best ways to approach an anti-eco. But that said, Dennis is in with a quick frag now, and now the AK's been stolen away, and he's got some Kevlar too, so round's not done just yet, but Shox is really working on it. 2 players left now for Fnatic. Will Olaf be able to get his first kill?
He's looking for it. He's got some targets to find, but not hitting much at the moment. And he will get taken down by none other than Screamers. Headshot, of course. Dennis now last man standing. May want to hold on to his AK if he can. He's got Kevlar as well. I mean, he'll be good for a full buy in the next round, but an AK is always better than an M4. That connector position that RPK was in, it's really very, very dangerous to push that, even when you have teammates in tow, when the CTs are on an eco. Because those guns can be super dangerous. Those close quarters play into the advantages of those pistols. But either way, 8-0 here for G2. Past the halfway mark in the first half. And we'll see if Olofmeister can get his first kill as Fnatic come back on the buy. They've tried aggression, didn't work. They've tried double AWPs, didn't work. They've gone back to the single AWP now. Olofmeister going to bounce that smoke off the train. Oh no, he's failed it! He's messed it up! You have to wonder if that's a weakness that G2 will try and exploit, and indeed, maybe Fnatic think that they're going to be safe over there, but no, it's failed, and G2 are going to capitalize on that immediately.
Yeah, we've got a lot of players coming in quickly, though, for Fnatic. Let's see if they can post a good defense. The bomb needs to go down, and Krim's going to stop that. Bomb hits the ground now as the trades come in. JW is getting a good work here as well with the AWP. That Scream out of the round, but there is still French players fighting back here, and it's looking quite good for G2 at this point in time. They can reclaim the bomb at this spot, as Fnatic now trying to get in position. It's JW. He could be the one to save the day. Oh, there's the first shot, gonna miss that one. But that's a lot of presence that he's providing. They're gonna have to be very careful to avoid him. And that's space for Flusher to use. And there it is, Albus misses on it. And it's Flusher down, and now it's all about JW. Can he get the shot? There's the first one, the bomb down again. 1 versus 1 now against RPK, and JW going for the sneaky play. He's going all the way around. This is crazy.
The problem is he can be heard from this position, but it seems that he knows that, Dan, and he's going to go for the fake. So we'll see what RPK chooses to do. He needs to collect the bomb. And maybe he's going to go for the hard read towards A because of the running. Yes, he is indeed. But the no-scope, doesn't need the no-scope. Very smartly done by JW.
Wow.
Great game sense, spatial awareness, Dan. Very important there. Because, of course, you can hear that running coming in. JW baits RPK, he takes the bait, and Fnatic get their first round on the board.
That's such an awesome clutch there from JW, my God. It's so cool as well because you see, I think it's very easy to be, to look at JW almost in some senses a bit one-dimensional. This guy's just a flashy guy with the orb, does crazy aggressive stuff. But he's a smart kid as well. Very smart guy. Let's see if Fnatic can use that round and turn it into more, convert it into more. There's a lot of money in the bank here for G2. Everybody is still towards $7 to $10K, so they're really healthy on the money. There's a lot that Fnatic needs to do to break them. And they got a nice little aggressive setup here, but again, Shox pushing sewers, taking down Olofmeister and creating yet more options to work with here for the G2 side. And Scream, look how patient he is. This is exactly what we were talking about.
If Fnatic lose this round, they're going to have no money. Their loss bonus is going to be minimum. And we might see a 14-1 half. That is very possible. And again, they're going for the aggression with Dennis, but G2, finally the patience has run out. They're starting to move away. Body gets taken down from the back screen here. He's going to get dinked, and he's unable to finish Dennis off. Nice recovery by Fnatic, but it's a 3 versus 3, and there's still lots of time here for G2. Yeah,
there's a lot to be done here for Fnatic because they're sort of out of position mostly. This is a big opportunity for G2. Crims needs to... He's got a hard choice to make. Does he try to delay the plan a little bit, help his teammates get in position, or does he use the element of surprise here to get a nice little attack going with the oncoming teammate, which is going to be Dennis. Dennis is present now, so they're ready to go for the push. Can G2 defend? RPK in a very sneaky position. It's quite hard to deal with this one. He can hit the headshot angles. Nice trade coming in, but what is this? Oh no, it's Shox coming in from the back. That is JW down, and now it's up to Crims with the bomb ticking away now. There's not much time to go for the defuse, and Smith ready and waiting. 9-1, Fnatic resets. Oh, it's bad, James. It's really bad. $1,400 on JW. That sucks.
Yeah, this is worst case scenario for Fnatic, and Olofmeister still hasn't got any kills just yet. I don't want to focus on that too much, but I mean, he seems to be just missing the mark with some of the duels he's taken. His cross has not even been on the player, so I'm not sure if he just needs to get the derp out down. We will find out as this best of 3 continues. 9-1, and Fnatic have been completely ruined, going for the force buy once again. And it's a similar setup here from G2 without the B push, though. Speaking of B pushes, we have a 2-man short B push from the CTs here. But it's very important to note that G2 have taken a slightly different approach with their anti-eco on this occasion, anti-eco, anti-force buy. You can see Shox with a more passive position, maybe having a read that they're going to try and come for him based on what he did last time. So again, he's changing things up. You often see CTs changing up their defense, but in this sense, G2 are technically on the defense as well.
Absolutely, and speaking of defense, it's Dennis versus 3 basically in this position, using the rock. Will the rock be his best friend? Looks like it will not be. Smith with a frag, and that could have been an important engagement for Dennis to get a bit of damage in, but he does nothing. And now Shox with his 1 versus 1 finds Crims. Crims is going to win it. That's a nice little frag there, because Shox, of course, was alone, meaning that the weapon can be easily picked up and tossed over to JW. So there's something to work with in this round now for the Fnatic side. But the problem is that G2 now found their way onto the bomb site. They got players all over the place like RPK, ready to deal with the rotation. You're looking good here for G2. Well, they have another somewhat clean anti-eco kind of round.
Plant finally coming down with 30 seconds on the clock. JW is trying to do what he can, but he's not going to be able to find the planter there. 2 plays left now for Fnatic, and this looks somewhat unlikely. JW has a decision to make. He's got full armor and the AK. I think the safe had to try and come in there. At this point, there's no point in him even spraying through the smoke. G2 have far too much money for him to have an economical impact. He needs to run away there and save the weapon. Yep. Unable to do so, and Fnatic are going to be on an eco. $2,000 per person on round 12.
Yeah, that's definitely, it could be a little bit of a tell as to their mentality when you see a decision made like that. That JW just wants to get some damage and he just wants to be able to play some Counter-Strike, because that's probably how it feels for Fnatic and for JW at this point, that they're not, G2 are not already even allowing them in the game. So we're going to have Bit of aggression coming in. Smith is going to easily deflect the first bit of aggression, which was Dennis sent to the bench. And there are more to follow. So this should be somewhat of a formality here. It should be over somewhat quickly. As Fnatic just want to get this round over with so they can get the guns out and have a real chance to get back in this one. But this is going to mean that G2 already are going to be going to 11 rounds, which is crazy. On overpass on the T side, I mean, I know that their T sides are fantastic, but would never have expected this.
Yeah, you need more than one round. And that's another opportunity lost for Olofmeister to make his way onto the scoreboard. 11-1. And finally, Fnatic can come back on the bye as their loss bonus continues to build back once again. And they are not going to be able to afford an AWP, I do not believe. No, they're not. Just 5 rifles on the side now. But who knows? Nothing else has really worked for them so far. 1 AWP hasn't worked, 2 AWPs hasn't worked, maybe 5 rifles will. We will see. They're quite lacking on the grenades as well, which is a problem because they started off trying to be aggressive. That hasn't worked either. Literally nothing's working for them against G2.
Yeah, it's nuts. G2 are just so hot at the moment individually across the board, and we've got once again Dennis with the usual shenanigans, but his patience is perhaps running out at this point with so many rounds against them. And this is where, you know, G2 can really start to abuse that desperation that Fnatic might be feeling. And also the fact that they have such low utility, there is a lot of incentive for them to try to get something done early into the round.
Olofmeister is back on the B bomb side again. We've seen him playing B, we've seen him playing toilets, back over towards B. Passive towards Graffiti earlier, you can see him moving towards the water now. But again, there's no control over the short B position. JW though is having some aggressive peeks towards Connector. But again, it's going to come down to the frags as the clock continues to tick. Minute on the clock here for G2, and they still haven't really gone for any kind of map control. Just starting to get their initial smokes in now. You can see RPK still making a nuisance of himself. JW going for a cheeky peek there with the pistol throw. And it's going to work out for him.
All right, so 45 seconds left. And G2, you know, I think they really have been of this mindset. Okay, maybe we can really, again, abuse the fact that Fnatic might do something a bit desperate here. And Fnatic haven't done that, which is really good for them. It's, you know, showing that their mindset is strong and resilient. And they're up a man now. And there's 30 seconds. And G2 don't really have much time to go and slowly clear positions. They have to rush it. And this rush to 10 is going to be meeting Flusher. And Flusher is on point. And this is looking great now for the Swedish side as we have Scream and Shox, the dynamic duo left alive. But they have to plummet within 15 seconds. Surely there is not enough time for this. There are so many bodies to go through. Olofmeister's there, the next player to deal with Scream. Oh, he's going to fight Olofmeister, but there's surely not enough time. He cannot win the round at this point, but he can definitely make this hurt for Fnatic. They'll pick up a round and Olofmeister will get his first frag in this half. That's a bit of a strange situation, isn't it? Olofmeister taking his first frag after 14 rounds.
Yeah. So that was, I think, poor time management there from G2. The bomb gets dropped and everything falls apart. But there was big damage done to the Fnatic side. G2 will have a far superior buy in this round. And there's no AWP here for the Swedish team. Just 2 rounds on the board as we move into the last 2 of the first half. Pop Flash coming in through that smoke. So it's going to be a much faster play from G2, completely changing the pace of the game here. Who's it going to be in favor of, though? Flushes down to the UMP again. A lack of grenades, so this might even work out for Fnatic.
Yeah, complete change of play. Scream straight away in there, gets taken down though. Trace coming in and the rotation has to be quick. JW holding it down on the bomb side. Will he buy enough time for his teammates? Looks like he'll finally be eliminated, and looks like the positioning of the remaining players of Fnatic is just too appalling to get in there. So this should be a free plant. Crims is left in a 1 versus 2 right now to give Fnatic that 3rd round that they so desperately need. And G2, who conversely in this round have loads of time to play with because they've played it so fast, they're going to switch it up and make it really difficult for Crims.
Yeah, Crims waiting perhaps for the plant to come in so he can try and get himself a 1 versus 1, but the plant is coming in elsewhere. And now the game's been given away. But the question is one person holding on the A site? That's what he's wondering. But he doesn't have time. He has got a kit. Smith's playing a blind spot. There is a crossfire situation now. Oh dear, the gun's giving him away. So Crims gets a 1 versus 1 now, whereas RPK could be in a short position. That is the question. Could be over towards Monster, could be on the left. RPK in an unlikely position. Very smart reaction there to Smith's going down.
Yeah, absolutely took Crims off guard, and RPK is actually up there with 18 frags at the moment. 18 for 7 is RPK, so he's really firing off. And Shocks as well, 17 for 5. You know, Scream's been having brilliant entry frags, but when RPK is hitting like that, it is pretty tough to deal with. And you can see how RPK does it right there, and now it's 12-2, and it is an awful buy here for Fnatic. You just simply don't have any bank to work with. CZs, the Scouts, some Kevlar, and a handful of grenades. Can they get it done with the rush down? GW will lead the charge, and it looks like there's opportunities to be had here, but now G2 know what's going on.
Yeah, G2 with no map control, but they do have control of all the expensive weapons at the moment, and they're coming out in the numbers, getting the frags, all headshots, of course. Body trying to hold, trying to contain the players over towards Connector, and there are two in there. That Molotov is going to be coming in a little bit too slow here. Dennis finding the headshot, but is it a consolation frag at this point? Shock's taking him down to 6 HP, and he's hunting for that frag. Indeed, he will get it. So 4 versus 2, but look at all the damage taken by G2. 2 CZs. Fnatic have a very good chance of winning this round if they can position well and get frags in quickly. And now Olofmeister is going to pick up an AK. This is a dangerous round for G2.
It really is, and Olofmeister's not been having the best half ever, but he's definitely going to give this a strong chance at the moment with that AK. They don't have that kit indeed, so they really need to speed things up, and RPK is going to get all the information. That's really, really painful for Olofmeister. He knows that someone could be playing around this area, but he's going to have his back turned to RPK, and perhaps now the chances in this round for Fnatic are going to drop completely, as Flusher is left with 23 health, and as CZ is going to go and give it his best, but there's just nothing to be done. 13-2 first half, G2 incredibly dominant. Is there a comeback to be made here with only 2 rounds in the second half for Fnatic?
These are the scores you used to see on the CT side when the map was still being figured out by the teams. 13-2 T half from G2. Not the start Fnatic were expecting, maybe not the start people were hoping for, as I think a lot of people want to see that Luminosity Fnatic final, but maybe G2 will throw a spanner in the works here. Fnatic could get straight bodied in the second half. I mean, they have to win the pistol.
They won 2 rounds, right? And one of the rounds that they won, it was by timeout. It's more or less because of G2's mistake of playing it so slow, and at the end, Scream basically killed everyone anyway. So even of the 2 rounds they won, they only really won 1 of them. So it's just an awful situation. There's just no sugarcoating it. But with the pistol round, perhaps hope can be found.
So early aggression here from the G2 side, but they're starting to move back. Again, RPK in control of short B, but Smiths has been taken down, and Fnatic looking to charge. Safety in numbers, looking to overwhelm this A side here. Scream has the other ideas, though. Finding the headshots, one goes down as well. That's going to slow things down. Running out of bullets, though, and Olofmeister will punish. 3 versus 3 Shocks, positioning to allow his teammates to run distraction, but Fnatic, expecting a rotation, will rotate themselves.
Yeah, just going to make things a little bit more difficult here for G2, force them to have to rotate into this one, and body, that is a pretty important frag right there, finding it with the P2000, and maybe that is all the damage that's necessary. But Crims, here he goes. Oh wow, shot so fast. And now it's down to Olaf. This could be redemption here. Here he goes, 1 versus 3. It's pretty hard with so many people facing. He's going to try to isolate the players there as he possibly can, but it's not going to pay off in the end. Too many. And the round goes to G2, 14-2. This is a train wreck, James, but I can't look away.
It is indeed. Close to the end of the first map here for Fnatic, but not over the line just yet are G2. Presumably the 4 spies coming out from Fnatic, indeed it is. They can't afford to wait for AKs. They've got to go now. Although they're going to buy some AKs, well, an AK. They're going to buy what they can. 1 AK, 1 Galil, and 3 pistols coming out here for the T side. Flusher going to be rocking the AK, which I think was dropped by Prims, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see, what is the plan with this smoke? Haven't seen one from that position before. Okay, standard one. Can be thrown from pretty much anywhere. This is a very open skybox on this map. So, G2 playing passive, playing numbers over towards the A site. Seems they're ready to retake on B, should it be required. Just 1 player over there for the most part. Fnatic slowly taking map control, making sure they don't fall into any traps.
And G2 seem to be guessing pretty well at the moment. Of course, the situation here is that it's always going to be easier to retake B, and so G2 are going to have that kind of approach. RPK is just sitting there so he can watch what happens. He can get the tell of if the other grenades coming in, other players rushing in, how many are there going to be, is the bomb there, and so on. And then his team can react accordingly, and they can go for the retake. It's very hard actually to hold the B bomb site from on top of the actual site. Usually as a tease, you want to fall back into positions further away, like into Suez and Monster and so on. And that's why it's easier for the CTs. And here we go. Actually, RPK, he's going to go over the smoke. This guy is pretty crazy. Feeling the confidence right now. Just going to pan out wonderfully. RPK with 2 frags, but we get a return here. Fnatic able to get a bomb down, create some space. And they can't quite escape to safety all that much, though. Olofmeister will be taken down in the effort. Crimson will spot them as they try to go for the boost. Oh, he can't get it, though, and it's going to be 2 players there for G2. They'll get the defuse, and in the end, it's all going to work out for G2. It's not quite going to be that 16-1, but it's going to be very close, it would seem.
Game point for G2. Disaster strikes here for Fnatic. Very surprising score so far indeed, but again, Fnatic have one more chance, one last chance here. They need 13 rounds in a row, Dan. Not a small task.
No, and then it's overtime if they even get that. So, well, they're going to be giving it their all. They have the jumble cell by. So 2 Tech 9s, Galil, UMP, and an AK-47. And Dennis, who has the AK, doesn't even have any Kevlar. He's running around naked.
Well then, 15-2. Not a great start. Flusher going down straight away. Got UMPs out once again. Fnatic gets to wonder if the heads are still in this game. JW just charging non-stop here, and Scream's going to find the headshot. What else would he find? 3 plays left for Fnatic. RPK holding an off angle, but Olofmeister maybe saw a bit of a shoulder there. But he will respond though and keep control of the short B position. The final 2 Fnatic players out of position right now. Dennis takes down Scream, but gives away the position of the bomb.
Alright, so lots of time left here for Fnatic to make decisions, and body is towards Suez there for G2. That's a really important position. Now he's going to be in the spot, one of the 2 players, and that's a really big tell here. And there is another one. It's Shox. He's going to be catching one of these 2 players with a nade in his hand. He can't get the frag, though. So Fnatic still have the opportunity to switch up their decision. They're not committed either which way at the moment. And Smith is just waiting patiently, trusting Shox to be able to hold here, trusting that if it is going to be B, that he won't need help initially. So Smith doesn't get caught out of position. He can just sit still. And Shox is looking towards Monster. It's as if he knows he can read the game so well. And now it's just down to Olofmeister for Fnatic to stop them from going down. He's going to get the kill here. Steal away the bomb again. 20 seconds to plant. And Will Smith guess right. Looks like he's in Suez at the moment, so he's got a very, very good position. Olofmeister with no help to work with. Smith is on top of things. 16-2. What a result there for G2 in map 1. Who could have predicted this? I have no idea.
Yeah, this is not a scoreline. I wasn't sure which way this map would go, actually. Overpass between these 2 teams. But a 16-2, not something that anybody could expect here. So there's a very dominating performance coming in from G2 to kick things off here. Going into Dust 2 as well. That's a very dangerous map. Again, I always say it, Shox is very, very at home on that map. And G2, we saw them perform on Dust 2 at the end of the tournament, and then it looks absolutely savage on that. They were always in the numbers when they were up against CT, so I think Fnatic are going to have a hard time on that map as well, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, G2, everything's been working for them this tournament, all the work that they've been putting in. I mean, you could talk about Scream yesterday. He was hitting his shots, but he was saying, you know what, it's about the team communication. Our communication's really on point. We're playing really well together, and we can see that. For Fnatic, they've got to go back and work out how the hell do they come back from that kind of defeat.
Indeed they do. They've got a few minutes to gather their thoughts and get their heads back into the game. We will see you for Dust 2 after the break.